Everyone, I often speak in this series about the difference between getting a black belt and becoming a black belt. And today I wanted to talk about one of the things that I believe makes the difference between getting a black belt or becoming a black belt. And that is that the individual, the student, hasn't evolved from the thinking pattern of the goal being the belt to the progress and the development and the learning and the process being the goal, and the belt being the reward and the recognition of that progress. It seems simple at first, but in the early days when you're going through yellow belt, orange belt, green, blue, red, brown, the belts are quite close together, and it's natural for a new student to come in and think, I want to get my yellow belt, and everything that they do is towards getting that yellow belt. And then the same, orange belt and green belt and blue belt and red belt. And it's pretty quick. It happens pretty quick. You're getting the belt, so the focus is really on, what do I need to do to get this belt? And the goal really is, you say, what's the goal? My goal is to get my blue belt. Now, this is not wrong, but it does need to transition. You do need to transition in your thinking as the levels go up. Otherwise, you'll just keep, that's where, this is one of the things, you'll get a black belt, you'll get a first dan, you'll get a second dan. But have you become that grade? And so we need to make sure that we remember the goal is self-improvement. The goal is to learn the next kata. If you learn it, you might get the next grade. But have you mastered it to the best of your ability? Have you become that kata? Have you gotten the best there's certain things that you may not be able to do, but maybe there's other things you can do, is your flexibility there? Is your power to weight ratio there? Are you heavier than you should be? Are you lighter than you should be? Do you need to strengthen up? Do you need to reduce your weight? Do you need to get stronger in certain aspects? Do you need to, build up that strength? Do you need to work on your philosophy? Do you need to learn the application? What is it that you need to do, or what is it that you can progress through so that you become the best version of what you can be? Not good enough to get the next belt, but have you mastered everything within you? Have you become everything that you can become for that level, to get the recognition of your progress, not to achieve the next belt, not to get the certificate on the wall, but for you to be that person? Okay, so there's a term here that hedonic, I'll probably again might muck up the pronunciation, but hedonic adaptation, also sometimes called the hedonic treadmill. And this is where we link this happiness or this desire to get, I'm going to be happy or feel good when I get this next belt. But the hedonic treadmill says that that happiness is very short lasting, and we'll fall back to our level playing field. And this has been proved by people who win the lottery. They end up coming back down. People who suffer really bad injury, and one will go up, one will go down, but sooner or later they come back to this mid playing field. And so this is where, if we understand this, that we keep chasing the belts, we're not going to get happiness in the long term. But if we can focus on the process, we can focus on that constant and never-ending improvement towards towards a worthwhile goal, then that's where the happiness is in the today. It's in the now, and you should be aiming to be fulfilled happy and grateful now because you're working on something, you're developing something, you're focused on what you can control, and that's that constant never-ending development of yourself, whether it be here, whether it be here, no matter, it's something that's within your total control, and that will stop you getting on that treadmill of I'll be happy when this happens, I'll be happy when that happens. And the worst is that most of the time you're not in control of that outcome. So you start to get your happiness and your joy and your gratitude for what you have now, where you are today, and that growth that you're doing. Start to love the process, not the outcome. And this is becoming a black belt, not getting a black belt means, and it's in this process. So just to recap, it's not bad to go for the goal of the belts in the early days, and it's not bad to want to get to that next level anytime, but we have to transition at some point to get from the goal being the next belt to the goal being the self-improvement along the way, and the belt being the recognition of and the reward for that growth. That's becoming a black belt. Hope that makes sense. Hope you take something from it. Hope there's something in there for every level, and I'll see you in the dojo.